on the screen, do you think? Or do you
No,
see
they see what's up there.
They're seeing a grainy picture right now.
Yeah, well, that was our last leave-off point that we're seeing. Like I said, there's a little bit of delay between us actually performing here. But I can tell already just by turning the light on this here that it does seem to be a little bit better. So, you're out there watching, let us know if it's better now with this light on us. Turn up notch.
I'm waiting patiently for the screen up above to start moving because that will be an indicator that things are better.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. We're on a better network strength here too, so. Seeing the bulb flies up there.
So let's see what happens here. So let's talk about the name of the show. Right now you got it down as the Mike and Red Show.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that? I know you just put out your generic idea.
Yeah, we can call this whatever we want to call it. So it's you and I are here doing it. So I figured our name's safe, but like I said, it's going to be more than us. We can invite people in, we can have guests.
I'm talking about specifically for the name. Is it going to be more, or people remember more if they say let's call it the Akron Podcast or something like that? That's my thought. Will they remember that over and above say something like Mike and Red Show?
They could.
Maybe some feedback on that would be great. Some ideas on names. Don't get silly, right? Don't get too silly on that. But and I don't know. My thought is it should be memorable. You want to see something people are going to remember. Mike and Red might be a little bit forgetful. Could be wrong. See what happens.
Remember more Show.
I know. Maybe it's trouble with normal. I do remember that film. Yeah. So.
Here's Springer.
Oh, back to Joe Rogan. So I was watching one of their podcasts. You know, Adam Carolla, right? Funny dude, that man show, whatnot. So I was watching one podcast from 2014, and evidently there was an issue with podcasters getting sued. I think this is probably a pretty good topic for us to talk about, since how we're putting podcasts together. So we want to be sued. Evidently there was some hotshot attorneys, I believe from the Bay Area, that put together a lawsuit against Adam Carolla, and basically the way the what was that? Not the contract. It was the lawsuit patent. So this attorney wrote up that patent, or business wrote up something via patent, and patent said you cannot podcast. Right. So Adam Carolla became target for this. And I guess he was being sued for some suit for like $3.5 million. It was a huge amount of money, and he was actually on Joe Rogan's podcast trying to say, hey, fellow podcasters, we need to all band together and work against this, because me as a little guy is never going to be able to beat this with the amount of money that I have, so on and so forth. So what he did is he pulled everybody, not just the podcast, but people in general, to give him money so he could fight the lawsuit. Now again, this lawsuit happened in 2014. I don't know the outcome of it. I did Google a couple things, but I didn't watch that podcast. They ended up going to bed. But my guess is judging by the podcast that are still going on, the fact that anybody else getting sued, we haven't done a podcast, the likelihood of that having been beat is pretty good.
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. I can't imagine what we want. You do actually want people to create content like we're doing here and putting it onto their platform, because it actually adds more content for them. So I think as long as you don't put other things out there that we didn't create, like as long as we're not trying to reuse. But I know there's other shows out there, cable shows, where they pull up headlines and pictures and clips from, all the different magazines that they might have, the rag mags out there, the Stars and Globes and Inquisitors, with the crazy headlines, things that are occurring around the world. And then they talk about them and things like that. They show pictures of celebrities and things like that. I think as long as it's you have permission to use the content, then we'll be fine. All the music that you've been hearing is stuff that I have recorded, so obviously I'm not going to sue us.
Let me throw an example. So I'm in the water damage industry, right?
Right.
In the water damage industry, you use heat. Heat is one of the elements that we use to dry things out, because hot air will hold more moisture, and we want to get the moisture in there so it can get dehumidified. But that's not why I'm telling you this. Well, the reason I'm telling you this is because evidently there was an attorney that had patented the idea of not going over 105 degrees in any way, shape, or form, because he had patented a way to kill bed bugs. Now, if you know anything about bed bugs, I went to a bed bug seminar, so I know a little bit about this.
Okay.
You want to get the bed bugs you want to get the house up to, it's kind of interesting, you got to get every part of the house up to like 117 degrees.
Wow.
So, and that means no bed bug live, right?
Okay.
But in order to really make that happen, you've got to get the house up to 160 degrees, because in order to get everything to 115, 117 degrees, whatever the correct temperature is,
right,
you've got to go around and shake clothes and stuff, because clothes is insulated, right?
Oh.
And bed bugs like to get in the clothes, and you've got mattresses, right? And the surface might be at 160 degrees, but you need to heat the surface up to 160 degrees in order for that heat to penetrate. So yeah, this guy, just because he wanted to make money on people, folks, and he patented the idea of going above the temperature 105 degrees, and that it affected my industry, because now we can't go above 105 degrees without the concern of being sued by this guy that created a selfish patent.
Yeah, patent trolls. I think that's what that is. They find ways of patenting common sense type things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I know a lot of patent lawyers.
Any lot of that?
They got a lot of weird patents. They all show their patents and things on the walls. I guess I can't talk about any of them, but you're looking at some of those benches, you're like, that was patentable? And there it is, and somebody's on some patent on it. So, I guess patents are what make the world go around, because every little piece of equipment that you use has a patent on it by somebody that does something, branding names, trademarks, patents,
right?
All those types of things that, are not in the public domain. I'm wearing a public domain t-shirt here, so I'm safe. Greg, I don't know what you're wearing. So don't say it out loud yet. I can't see it on TV. It's kind of blurry. So if they're trademarked, people don't want to,
I would think they would want to be. It's an Akron company, right?
Oh, well,
so they probably would, but in the fear of getting sued, I'll just be quiet and be happy that it's blurry on that screen right there. So.
We better watch out when we get our upgraded camera for the next showing that we'll do here.
Well, it's only going to be Drive Patrol. It's going to be Hibbard Foundations.
Okay.
Those will be the only shirts I wear from now on. I know those two companies won't sue us, right?
Right. You can wear plain shirted shirts too. I see a lot of times people on recordings or whatnot, they'll have their blurred out. So
yes.
I don't know.
Why do they do that?
For branding purposes, I guess. Trademark infringement. We can't use something as, for the point where you might think, or the viewers might think that this person had sponsored us, or this company sponsored us, or endorses what we're sitting here talking about. Although we haven't really talked about anything of a controversy yet. So.
Right. Soon to change, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We'll screw that up one way or another. Yeah, a lot to think about. Yeah, maybe I'll just wear black t-shirts.
Yeah, something to think about.
Akron.
If I think if they're Akron-based shirts, that's kind of cool. Since I think that our themes and things that we should talk about should be kind of Akron-oriented. I guess it's hard to stop us from going off on 2 hours to fill here. We got to talk about all kinds.
We
of
need a lot
stuff.
of tangents, I think.
Yeah. Well, get me on a roll about something passionate about. I can fill up 4 hours, especially if it's computers, music.
You name it.
Music.
Well, I'm trying to stick to message. I'm still trying to hammer out the name, and I'm wondering if we should go. I don't see any. Let's see here. Okay, we'll be right back. We've got 2 messages thus far.
Yeah,
one of them was from you.
Yeah, I sent that message there. Yeah.
But that's good. But let me ask you this: would the Mike and Greg show be harder to find than the Akron podcast, or something related to Akron? That would be the only thing. And
Yeah.
if we're going to try to, I think part of the reason we're doing this is for Akron pride,
Right.
In a positive way, like you said.
Yes.
We're both living in Akron. We're both proud of that fact. Proud of the fact that we were born in Akron,
Yep.
and therefore Akron doesn't have a podcast. I've already Googled that; it's not there. But it doesn't have to be Akron podcast. It could be Akron just about anything. Is there something more clever? You're the computer guru, so. Would something stand out a little bit more? Would there be something a little bit more niche-y, something that would make a lot more sense than Akron podcast?
Yeah, well, because we're flying by the seat of our pants, we got to get some name. So, yes, if people are searching for something out there on the web, I see I'm giving a little bit of my computer knowledge here away. Okay,
that's fine.
We'll get. I usually charge for this.
Okay.
So you'll get some free. This is SEO, search engine optimization. So when people are doing a search, like you went to Google to do a search, and you typed in some keywords like Akron podcast, and nothing came back. So there's 2 thoughts about that. One is nothing came back because no one's searching for Akron podcast. So if no one's searching for a certain term, then it's silly to make a title around a term that no one's searching for. Only off because we think that might be relevant. It happens a lot to in your business, you're so close to the terms and technology, the terms and the technology in the process, that the layman, you might be talking over their head. And I would never, think about contacting your business for the terms that you're using. I just might say, I got water damage, and you might have, some technical term for what the water damage might be. I don't know. I'm just pulling stuff out.
We were smart enough to put water damage, but I get your point.
Good. So what happens a lot of times that people will spend a lot of money, a lot of effort to come up with their web their web addresses, their titles, their things that they want to call their products or whatnot, and it all goes into the point. There needs to be a little bit of research done. What are people actually searching for? If that's the point of having a name that's going to have a high search ratio, that someone would type in those terms and then thus find us, like the Akron. But if none is typing in the Akron podcast into Google or Yahoo Bing, then what's the point of doing that either? But then again, who's typing in Mike and Greg? So there might be more people going to type in Akron podcast that might randomly find us, based upon that. But I don't think that a success continue to do this. Our success with doing a podcast isn't going to be because we have a generic term like the Akron podcast. People stumbled upon us we're going to be successful because you and I are out there promoting it, and people find us interesting and they want to tune in. But they're probably not going to tune in too much if we have cameras that don't do the job that they're supposed to do.
This show is going to be worth millions one day. I know it, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's going to be the raunchiest, most difficult thing to watch because, we don't have a good camera and whatnot. It's going fine. This is exactly what we could only expect out of I'm just really, really happy that we've gotten 2 messages. Actually 3. One of the messages came from us. We've gotten 2 messages. One from Tracy, one from your wife and your daughter.
Yes.
Via piece of paper.
Yes.
We're in really good shape right now.
Great.
I think this is going really well. But back to what you were saying. So the word podcast is interesting to me. So I found out about podcast more or less by accident. I was just surfing YouTube, and then I stumbled into a podcast, and I was like, "What is a podcast?" And I guess what I'm wondering is, where is the popularity of podcasts now? Where we actually use the word podcast, because, like, for example, you use the Mike and Greg show. Well, does show relate to television and podcasts relate to computers? I don't know. I did hear somebody talk about where the term podcast came from, and it had to do with iPads and Apple. At least that's what they said it came from. So, is the word podcast ever going to change again? What's the popularity of it now? And, is that a word that's going to draw people? Because when people are looking on the computer, are they looking for a show? Are they looking for a podcast? Are they looking for the YouTube? It's going to be on YouTube regardless.
Yeah, it's on YouTube regardless. YouTube, I think, refers to them as shows, entertainment, clips. They call them channels, because what we have here is called a YouTube channel. So, the term podcast, it does come from the term iPods. That was really one of the things, and because you could download them, and people would record audio shows, just like we are doing now, and then people would download those onto their iPods, and then it became the term podcast. That's how I know it as well too.
Is it gonna stick, you think?
It's not a term that I use, and I'm in the industry,
right?
So
right. Yeah.
It's not a term that I use. But again, see, that's something, you do use it. It was something that it was interesting to you, and you picked up on it, and you went with it. So I can't discount just because I don't use the term that other people won't use the term. So is it a podcast? I guess so. I think a podcast more is audio because of the iPod, but the later iPods, that was like the thing that came out that killed the Walkman. Did you have a Walkman?
Of course.
Yeah, we all had Walkmans, and I
absolutely
moved up from the Walkman cassette to the Walkman CD, and then an MP3 player. But then that's really all an iPod was, is an MP3 player. They called it an iPod, and they got a branded name out of it, and great for Apple, and I think that was the launch of their success with all these new iPads and the iMacs and all that type of stuff coming out now that they have been having the iPhone. You just got a new one.
Yes.
Right. So it's there's so much technology out there, but podcast in and of itself, if we want to use the term, I don't have a strong opinion against it. I think of everything in an entertainment standpoint, because what we are doing here is a show. When I perform out and we play a show, do performance, and I don't know, it's all a form of entertainment.
Right.
For all we know, people love us, and we could get picked up by Netflix, and this could turn into a Netflix show. And using low quality laptop cameras here becomes the norm as far as future of broadcasting. I doubt it. We're just
Dare dream,
wishful hoping here to give us a little lift with our bad camera situation. But
well, and I don't want to make a something that is relatively simple complicated. Sometimes I have a habit of I think we talk to friends that we know, and maybe re-enter that next week and talk about what we can do for a name.
Right.
I think
I don't throw about this. what's the subject matter? We've kind of been ranting here and just going off the cuff, just chatting, but have segment or weather. Obviously, not talking about certain LeBron. He is here for does talking here in Akron, things that we hear, construction, moles, all that are going to eat at.
Yeah, to hit the hot, maybe make it. Well, I think too. But for example, we knew the new sewer in Akron